Hello students, welcome back to our video. So in the last video we discussed about the fixed shops. Now let's start with the discussion of other methods of selling. So in that the first method is automatic vending machine. This is the one kind of automatic machine for selling the products by which retail sale is made. Products are arranged in advance in this machine. Customer has to drop the currency or coins in the machine to purchase the products like newspapers, cold drinks, ice creams, coffee and etc. How many coins are to be inserted in the machine is indicated on the machine. The required product comes out from the machine as the coin is inserted into the machine. These types of machines render services for 24 hours continuously. The expense on the salary, training, etc. of the salesman decreases because of the automatic vending machine. At present, these types of machines are seen at public places like shopping malls, airports, railway stations. This type of machines was invented by Greek engineer and mathematicians Alexandria Hero. Got it? So this is machine when automatic vending machine from which you can buy the cold drinks, ice creams, coffee, newspapers. You just have to put the coins or currency and the product will come out of the machine. And for how much you have to put the coin inside the machine is indicated. The price is always indicated below the products. So that much coin you have to put on the automatic vending machine and the product will come out of. So and this machine was invented by the Greek engineer and mathematician Alexandria Hero. So this is the other method for selling the products. Then second one is telemarketing. Telemarketing can be divided into two parts. First one is telephonic marketing. Telephonic marketing means potential customers are contacted through telephone or mobile to provide a commodity or services in this method. Interested customers are then directly visited and are provided information at a time and place convenient to them through fixing the appointment on the telephone or the mobile. This method of selling is called telephonic marketing. So whenever product is sold or whenever product is marketed through telephone or mobile, then it is known as telephonic marketing. An appointment is also fixed on the telephone whether the customers want to buy the products or not. So that's why this is known as the telephonic marketing. This method is useful for loan, financing, insurance services, credit card, etc. Products or services are available at fair prices and the customer's time is saved due to the absence of the middleman. And the second type of telemarketing is television marketing. Television marketing means in this method customers are attracted by providing full information of the product or services through live demonstrations of various products. Along with this, customers are given either phone number or name of the website to purchase product or services. Customers can contact accordingly and can place the order. The product is delivered to the customer's home. Under this method, products of home appliances, luxurious and comfort products are sold. Payment for these products is made through two methods. First one is advance payment by credit or debit card, and second one is payment can be made by cash when the product is delivered at home. Due to the absence of middlemen, products are available at reasonable price and it saves the time. So these are the products are sold through the television marketing. You all know whenever you watch the television, some like comfort goods like websites come to sell their products, correct? So that is known as the television marketing. Then third type of other method of selling includes internet marketing. Producer places the advertisement of his products on different medias of internet like emails, portal, browser. Sometimes they have their own websites like Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon.com, etc. The customers compare the products of competitors by observing such advertisements and selects the products of their own and places the order through internet and make the payment through the online or cash on delivery. The customers have turned to the media of internet in modern time. Because of the absence of middlemen, showroom expenses, etc., products are available at cheaper price in comparison to local market. Along with this, customers also get the after sales services. So you all are familiar with internet marketing. You all might be doing the online shopping. So that is known as the internet marketing. Got it? Now let's look at the terminology of the trade. So first one is cash on delivery, COD. Payment of cash to producer or seller when goods are delivered to the customers is called cash on delivery, COD. Then second one is free on board, that is FOB. The exporter bears the expenses till the goods reach to the importer's port is called the free on board. Then third one is cost, insurance and freight, that is CIF. When invoice includes the cost of goods, insurance and freight is called CIF invoice. And fourth one is errors and omissions expected, that is E&OE. Generally, errors and omissions accepted are the mentioned in invoice, which means any accounting or calculating mistakes are acceptable to the issuer of the receipts. So these are just the four terminology of the trade. This terminology you guys will be learned in the following chapters. Got it? Okay. So now let's look at the differences between the departmental stores and the chain stores. So first point of difference in that the objective. So the objective of departmental store is to supply all the types of goods to the customers at the same place. Whereas the objective of chain store is to supply goods by reaching the near customers at various places. Then second point of difference is method of sales. So in departmental store, sales of goods at the same place in different departments, whereas in chain stores, sales at different places through branches. Then third one is risk. So in the departmental store, greater risk as the sales activity is at the same place, whereas for the chain stores, comparatively risk is less as the sales activity is at different places by the branches. Then fourth is sales of goods. So for the departmental store, sales of goods is either on cash basis or on the installment system, whereas in this chain store, sales of goods is on the cash. And the last one is opportunity of selections for the customers. So in the departmental store, wider opportunity of selection to the customers as many types of products are sold in the departmental stores, whereas in the chain store, less opportunity of selection as limited products of the same class are sold in the chain stores. So these were the differences between departmental store and the chain store. Now let us look at the difference between the retailer and the wholesaler. So in that, the first point of difference is capital investment. So in retail trade, less capital investment is required for the business, whereas in the wholesale trade, more capital investment is required for the business. Then purchase and sales. In retail trade, purchase the goods in small or large quantity and sells to the customers in retail as per the requirement, whereas in wholesale trade, purchase the goods in large quantity and sell the good in small quantity to the retailers. Then third point of difference is distribution channel. So for the retail trade, connecting link between customers and wholesaler. Retail trade is a connecting link between customers and the wholesaler, whereas the wholesaler trade is a connecting link between the retailer and the producer. Then fourth one is sales of product. So in retail trade, sells various products of many producers or wholesalers. In the wholesale trade, sells the various products of the limited producers. And the last one is number of traders. So in retail trade, comparatively retailers are more in number, whereas in wholesale trade, comparatively wholesalers are less in number. So this was the differences between the retailer and the wholesaler. So with this, now we are done with the chapter number 9. So I want you guys go through the points which is given at the end of the chapter. What did you learn in this chapter? So these are the points given at the end of the chapter. So I want you guys to go through these points and try to also solve the textbook exercise questions. So with this, now we are done with the chapter number 9. So from the next video, we are going to start with the new chapter, that is chapter number 10, International Trade. So if you have any questions or any doubts, please feel free to comment below the video. Thank you.